I had a girl, neighborhood girl with me named Barbara. Tough as nails. Beautiful, but tough as nails. A lot of kidnappings have been going on with these oil executives. And it was, the oil companies were based in, I think it was Maracaibo. It's right on the coast of Venezuela. And if you wanted to go to the resorts, you have to take a cable car over the mountain. The cable car takes you to the seashore towns. And when you get up the top of the mountain, they have these beautiful chalets. You can, get out and you can rent. So I rented one, and we find out this restaurant where these oil executives hang out. So I got Barbara all decked out, and she plays this guy. She didn't want to do it. I said, we're going to make a lot of money. So when I tell her you're going to make a lot of money, she said, okay. So now I got to make it get convincing. So I told my sort of like the other cousin, he had a family member that worked in the morgue in Caracas. I said, go get me a finger. It looks like Caucasian. Come back with a finger. Sure enough, he comes back with a finger. I put it in a box, right? And I sent another guy, he didn't know, with a note and the box. I sent him right into the office, right? But I did something stupid. I forgot to ask for American money. I said, I want $2 million, right? They brought a pickup truck with $2 million worth of Caracas money, which was probably worth maybe 10 grand. So I got this pickup truck full of money. What am I going to do? Am I going to send it back and say, no, I want it? That's my... Well, I was more worried about Barbara, because she figured she's set in life, She's going to get $1 million, So she was mad. She's throwing things at me. So I said, well, what we're going to do? So we took the truck. We went to Macuto. It's a seashore town. Beautiful little town. And I went to the mayor, and I says, we're going to have the biggest party ever in the history of this town. For 2 weeks, we're just spending money like it's water. Giving it, spending it, treating the whole town. So we blew $2 million, but it was Venezuelan money.
Amazing.
I fly into Barranquilla with Barbara, and I see the guy. His name is Raymond the Boss. He was the boss of Barranquilla. I said, Raymond, I need come in to look at some product. I need some product. He said, forget about it. I says, why? He says, they beat the Indians. See, people don't understand. The growers in Colombia are from the Santa Marta region, okay? And they're Indians. That is their land. They grow the best back then. I said, what happened? He said, well, guess what? They sent a guy with a machete in the middle of the town. He grabbed somebody that he thought that was responsible for beating them. He cut his head off, and he sat on the curb till they came and arrested him. So Raymond says, now, you want us to go full with those people? So I says, no, I'm going up there. I'm going up there. But I said, Barb, you stay. So I said, give me a driver. And I told this kid, I said, make sure you got no gun, because in case we get pulled over by the police or the military, don't bring a gun. He didn't listen. He puts a gun under the seat, and we get stopped by the military. They searched the car. They found a gun. That was it. They think you're selling arms to FAR. FAR had an ongoing revolution in that country for years. FAR was a guerrilla movement group. So now they take me to the military compound, throw me in this cell. The cells, I never forget, they were on a slant. The reason they're on a slant, they run water through your cell, the trough. Every cell had a trough right on the back of the wall, like a little trough, and that's where the water goes, and that's where you drink, bathe, and defecate. That's it, and there's straw on the floor. But I was always, when I used to travel, I used to have my secret compartment in my clothes. I always had a little secret compartment, and I always took 3 diamonds. 3 1-carat diamonds. They weren't flawless diamonds, but they were good. Because when I got arrested, they took my money, they took my watch, and they told me, when the general gets here, you're going to be executed. They're talking about executing me. And they even showed me the wall where they lined the people up and killed them. I said, oh my God. I says, see, you brought the gun, you see what you're going to do? So I know I got to bide my time. Wait till the middle of the night, and I take one of the diamonds out of my secret pocket, and I told the guard, telephone. He look around, boom, brings me, and I call my guy in Barranquilla. I said, Raymond, you get here, they're going to execute me. Bring 20,000. Bring it here tomorrow. Sure enough, they were there. Now, the same guy that was going to execute me, when they took me out of the cell, he take me to his office. He's a general. He's drinking with Raymond, right? You're with me now, he tells us. It's the same guy that's going to execute me. You're with me now. Don't worry, I give you marijuana. Yeah. So they get me out of that jam. Now we go back to Barranquilla. I want to rest a day or two. I'm going back. I'm going back into the mountains. I came here to get some weed. I'm not wasting my time. So Barbara says, let me go with you. Maybe they'll, with a girl. I says, all right. We go up in the mountains, and I'm waiting to see the chief. We're outside, standing outside the car. Here comes the chief. He's got a Rolls Royce, mud all over it. He's got a Rolls Royce. He gets out of the Rolls Royce. He's got bare feet. He never had shoes on in his life. You ever see a guy that never had shoes on all their life? Well, his toes are extended, foot's big, and he's got solid gold 45, right? But as soon as he seen Barbara, I knew I had this guy. Because they love blondes, Make a long story short, I got my weed. But he said, no, she stay here till you bring me my money. Barbara says, oh, go, I'll stay. I'll stay. I said, Barbara, I don't want you. She said, go ahead, I got you. I said, when you be back? I said, it's going to take me at least 2 weeks. So I get back. Guess what, when I got back? Guess who I got to deal with?
The general.
Barbara. She took over. She actually took over this chief, the tribe. She was the boss. She took over. And she made so much money that she wound up moving to Spain, and then I lost track of her. She stood up there in the mountains for a few years, made a ton of money.